Citizens, it's that time. You are officially in Alert Zone. Welcome to another episode of Never Again. I am the host, Uncle James. I would love for you to become an active citizen of the Alert Zone. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button, hitting the bell so you can be notified when we drop fire content, giving the video a like, sharing, all that good stuff. If you're 18 years of age or older and are able to be legally armed in America, practice your Second Amendment rights. It is not illegal under the Constitution. Around the world, whatever you are able to be legally armed with, arm yourself. So I want to say, today, got the Llama Arms 38 Super on me, 1911. It's loaded, so chambered in 38 Super. Rolling with that today. This is kind of a representation of the topic we're going to talk about. And we are going to talk about Pancho Villa. So, let me give you guys just a brief summary and then I'll go into a little commentary. Now, I know this is from Wikipedia, but follow me. Francisco Pancho Villa, born Jose Doroteo Arango Aromba. I know I'm messing that name up. June 5th, 1878 to July 20th, 1923. That's his lifespan. Was a general in the Mexican Revolution. He was a key figure in the revolutionary movement that forced out President Porfirio Diaz and brought Francisco Maduro to power in 1911. When Maduro was ousted by a coup led by General Victorino Huerta in February 1913, he joined the anti-Huerta forces in the Constitutionalist army led by Venustiano Carranza. Y'all forgive me about these names, I know I'm butchering them. After the defeat and exile of Huerta in 1914, Villa broke with Carranza. Villa dominated the meeting of the revolutionary generals that excluded Carranza and helped create a coalition government. Emiliano Zapata and Villa became formal allies in this period. Like Zapata, Villa was strongly in favor of land reform, but did not implement it when he had power. At the height of his power and popularity in 1914 and early 1915, the U.S. considered recognizing Villa as Mexico's legitimate authority. Mexico. Civil War broke out when Carranza challenged Villa. Villa was decisively defeated by constitutionalist General Alvaro Obregón in summer 1915, and the United States aided Carranza directly against Villa in the Second Battle of Agua Prieta in November 15, 1915. Much of Villa's army left after his defeat on the battlefield and because of lack of resources to buy arms and pay soldier salaries. Angered at the U.S. aid to Carranza, Villa conducted a raid on the border town of Columbus, New Mexico to goad the U.S. into invading Mexico in 1916. Despite a major contingent of soldiers and superior military technology, the U.S. failed to capture Villa. When Carranza was ousted from power in 1920, Villa negotiated an amnesty with interim President Adolfo de la Huerta and was given a landed estate on the condition of retire from politics. Villa was assassinated in 1923. Although his faction did not prevail in the revolution, he was one of the most charismatic and prominent figures. In life, he helped fashion his own images, such as an international known revolution hero, starring him as himself in Hollywood films and giving interviews to foreign journalists, most notably John Reed. After his death, he was excluded from the pantheon of revolutionary heroes until the Sonoran generals Obregón and Calles, whom he battled during the revolution, were gone from the political stage. Villa's exclusion from the original official narrative of the revolution might have contributed to his continued posthumous popular acclaim. He was celebrated during the revolution and long after by corridos, films about his life, and novels by prominent writers. In 1976, his remains were reburied in the monument to the Revolution in Mexico City in a huge public ceremony. All right, so you guys got a brief history of Pancho Villa. Let me say this. First off, shout out to the Mexicans, Mexican Americans, Chicanos. I'm not sure how y'all are identified. Don't attack me. This is just for historic things, and this is a part of this. For you guys that's new to the channel, catch up on my old videos. For you guys who've been following the channel, you guys know I just got back from Mexico City. It turns out I was down there for Mexico Independence Day, September the 16th. Let me say this, as a New Orleanian, I grew up in a lot of segregation. I didn't really learn as much about cultures outside of America because of how I grew up and where I grew up. I heard of Pancho Villa, and he was always spoken of as though he was like a bandit. Upon learning more information about Pancho Villa, let me say this. If you're a Mexican, a child of Mexicans, whatever generation, if you're Mexican American, Chicano, whatever you call yourself, listen to me really good, because this is important. It is up to you guys to learn your history and uplift your freedom fighters. If you've never been to Mexico City on Independence Day, you should go. You guys have no idea how revered Pancho Villa was out there. All the stands, all the souvenir places where you can buy memorabilia was selling his mustaches, shirts with him with the Revolution. Yes, Pancho Villa was not the only person that took part in the Mexican Revolution, but he became infamous because he was not afraid to challenge American imperialism. And let me explain this. So I have researched, and in his death, I was explained that he was ambushed. There was a campaign against him, and Pancho Villa fell victim to an American strategy. And the strategy is, if we don't like you, we have to dirty you up before we can attack you, so we can get the public on our side. It was said that Pancho Villa was forcing himself upon women, if you know what I mean, committing all kinds of atrocities, which, from what I found, it's to not be true. There was no sufficient evidence to support that. So when he was ambushed, a lie was already out there. He's celebrated amongst people in America that know of him now because he was sanitized. Don't let them sanitize your freedom fighters. For existence, I'll just jump off subject for a second. We're allowed to celebrate Dr. King now because they sanitized his image. He's the same man that America said was a terrorist when he was alive. So the popularity that Pancho Villa has in Mexico and abroad is very, very eye-opening. For the people that know the true story, they really, really revere this guy. At the time, he was not afraid of anything. He was a fearless soldier. This is just these documentaries we do here, the little small docu-series, is to get people acclimated to how we say never again. How Pancho Villa said never again was, he took up arms. He took up arms. He understood something that we try and teach you here in the Alert Zone. You can have whatever you want, but in the real world, if you don't have these legally to protect it, you won't keep it. Criminals understand that. The whole point of this series is to spread light on atrocities, but also to motivate people. You know, there's another episode I'm gonna do in this series where I'm gonna go more into depth about something else that ties to this. But just in keeping with Pancho Villa, learn the story of Pancho Villa, research it thoroughly. Don't just follow one source, get 2 or 3 sources to back that up. You know, Malcolm once said to us, the media is the most powerful thing on earth. It can make you love the villain and make you hate the hero. That's what he said. He said the people they tell you to cuddle up to is the ones you need to get away from. The ones they tell you to stay away from is the ones you need to get up to. The popularity of Pancho Villa, not only here in America, but that I saw in Mexico, was astounding to me. The proudness that people had wearing shirts, wearing the mustaches, wearing the sombrero, wearing all that stuff. The guys and girls that was taking the pictures out there dressed as revolutionaries was really, really astounding to me, observing. And I want to say, if you're a Mexican American or you're a Mexican that came as a kid and never got to go, I say at least once, go to Mexico City to the Zocalo for the revolution, for the Independence Day, and just see for yourselves how much this man is revered in the country of Mexico. If you've never been, if you're not a Mexican person or of Mexican descent, but you would like to know the full story of Pancho Villa, maybe this will point you in the right direction. As we say here in this docu-series, never again, if you're not legally armed, what you don't think can happen will happen. Having a firearm doesn't guarantee that something can happen, but it gives you a chance to stop it from happening. Pancho Villa understood I was outgunned, but I needed to strike first and use my resources in order to continue the fight. I want you to do that. Get your legally owned firearms. Protect yourself. Don't go out looking for trouble. But when trouble comes, you have to do what you have to do to preserve your life. Pancho Villa understood that. It's just sad that from what I saw, such a revered man had his reputation smeared, but his reputation being smeared tell you he did the right thing and he was for the people. So hit me in the comment sections and let me know what you think about this episode. There are more episodes to come. And as we say in the alert zone, everybody, until next time, stay safe, stay armed. I just talked about Pancho Villa. I got the 38 Super, which is a Mexican cartridge that I call a Mexican problem solver. Stay on high alert.